Now it's time for my perspective. There's no doubt the cringe factor was extremely high when I heard and read the comments by Dr. Cornel West with regards to the skin tone and whether or not President Barack Obama is black enough. To listen to a scholar like Dr. West raise the issue in terms of Obama, who is half black and half white, being raised as a, frankly, man uncomfortable being in that black skin was troubling. Why is that the case? Because we have seen significant attacks on this president and his character. We've seen people question whether he's a real American. We've seen folks question whether he's a Christian. But early on in the campaign, there were many African Americans, and I heard them say this, question whether or not he is black enough. But the real question comes in, what is black? And how can someone be black enough? We've seen Bernard Hopkins criticize Donovan McNabb for growing up with the father and not necessarily being totally black. We've seen the comments by Jalen Rose, his comments regarding Duke University and Grant Hill recruiting Uncle Tom's. So we've seen these kinds of discussions on many different occasions. But when it comes to President Barack Obama, the real issue for me is not personal comments. The real issue is, what are the policies? And I think it is grossly unfair for anyone to go down a road where we begin to make personal attacks about his integrity, about his character. It should all be about policy. And so as I've watched African Americans online, social media, talk about this debate back and forth, I think the problem has been more time has been spent talking about personal feelings as opposed to the policy initiatives that is at the root of Dr. Cornel West's problem. You heard him earlier talk about that. Talk about the poor. Talk about young black men being picked up by cops. Talking about the prison industrial complex. Talking about the lack of jobs. Talking about the fact that black teens, 44% unemployment rate in this country. If you talk to the White House, they will tell you they have not done enough. But they also will say a lot of things that they have done, and they think people like Dr. Cornel West, they've not taken the time to actually find out what they've done and how they're trying to impact the lives of so many people. But I also think we should use this moment as a way to check ourselves as African Americans, and that is, how do we actually view any kind of criticism of this president? I'll be honest. On this show in the last 2 years, we've had some very tough conversations about President Barack Obama, his administration, and some of their positions. And what's interesting is that when we have those challenging questions, we've gotten all kinds of comments on our website, on TV1online.com, plus mine personally, saying, how dare you criticize the president? We see others criticizing him. We shouldn't turn to a black network and see the same kind of criticisms. I say you're absolutely wrong. The issue here for me is not a critique of the president. It's really a question of tone. It's also what you say and how you say it. I believe that had Dr. Cornel West made his comments solely about policy, we would not have the kind of discussion that we're having now. But when it becomes personal, I think people begin to tune you out and don't listen to the great things you have to say. They focus on what they perceive to be those negative things. We've seen the exact same thing happen with the Congressional Black Caucus, as we've discussed on this show. It was very interesting when the CBC withheld their votes to oppose the financial reform bill because they wanted more protection in that bill for minorities. The White House pushed back, did not necessarily want to give up some of those things. How do I know? Because I got a phone call late one Thursday night questioning whether or not I was going to discuss the issue on the Tom Joyner Morning Show the next day. The CBC got $4 billion in concessions from Congress, from the administration, yet black folks said, how dare the CBC question the president? The Congressional Black Caucus was sent to Congress by their constituents to fight on their behalf. And there are going to be times when they also oppose President Barack Obama. Like it or not, he is the 44th president of the United States. And for African Americans, the concern should be not that we are excited about the historical nature of his presidency, not the symbolic nature, but also what is the return on our investment. Gays and lesbians voted for him in record numbers. They also have demanded certain things, and they've gotten them. Hispanics voted for President Barack Obama in record numbers. They too have made demands, and they want to see a return on their investment. So why should African Americans not have a return on their investment? We should be asking critical questions. We should be saying, how are you going to address the job situation in our community, education in our community? How are you going to address the fact that we did not get enough of those contracts from the stimulus bill? Those are real issues. Those are policy issues. They have nothing to do with his skin tone. They have nothing to do with his mother being white. They have nothing to do with him being raised in Kansas and Hawaii and Indonesia. And so the focus of any critic of the president, be it Dr. Cornel West, be it Tavis Smiley, be it me, be it you, it should be all about policy and not personal issues. Because if we go down that road, we're no different than Rush Limbaugh or Glenn Beck or Sean Hannity or Michael Savage or any of the other critics of the president. And so if we're going to sit here and say none of them should be attacking the president personally, well, the same thing should go for all of us. It's about policy, not personal issues. I'm Roland Martin, and that's my perspective. What's yours?